Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and this video is a complete step-by-step guide on how to build a website for a gym or fitness center. This is the website that we will be creating, and if I just refresh this, you can see we have a nice animation for all of these numbers right here. We have this very clean and minimalistic banner. We can scroll down to this next section, which is an About Us section. And in this area, it also shows all of the facilities at the gym or fitness center. We then have this section, which goes in more detail into the activities. And we also have this beautiful chart right here. Then scrolling down, we show all of the different services that we have within the gym. So in this example, we have lessons for beginners, yoga sessions, but you can customize this to be whatever you like. Then we can scroll down and we have this Why Choose Us section where we once again list some of the benefits. We then have this section which shows a video. You can choose to delete this if you don't have a video that you would like to upload. Then scrolling down, we have this section which shows all of the pricing plans, and you can add or take away as many pricing plans as you would like to add. Then we can scroll down and we are going to show all of the different trainers that we have at the gym. We then have a client testimonial section. So that is the home page right there. We also have some further pages. So we have an About Us page that looks like this. We also have a classes page, which is going to show a timetable of all of the gym classes, as well as some of the featured training classes. We then have this trainer page, which goes into more detail and shows all of these trainers, and a pricing page, which shows the pricing once again. Now, with this website, you can really customize this in any way you like. If there are any sections you would like to add in, if there are any of these sections you would like to take away, you absolutely can do this. And I'm going to show you step by step exactly how you can customize this website in any way that you like. This video is a complete step-by-step guide, so even if you have never built a website before, all you have to do is follow along with this tutorial and you will walk away from this video with a beautiful gym website. The very first thing that we have to do is buy hosting. Now, I have tried so many different hosting providers over the years, but by far the best one that I have found is Hostinger. So that is the one that I recommend. And on top of this, if you use the top link in the description of this video, you can get up to 75% off all of your hosting with Hostinger. Once you have clicked on that link, you will be taken over to this page right here. And this is Hostinger. Now, as I said, you can get up to 75% off your hosting. Just ignore this timer right here. They always have it on. But we can then click on Claim Deal, and it's going to take us down to this section right here, where we can choose between the Premium, the Business, and the Cloud Startup plan. Now, what I personally choose and what I recommend for you is going to be this Business plan right here. The reason for this is because with this Premium plan right here, you get the standard performance, and what I have found when trying to use this in the past is that the standard performance can sometimes slow down, especially when we have a lot of images, we have some videos, and we have different elements on the website. With Business, I have never run into this problem. It's always worked absolutely perfectly, and that's the reason that I don't recommend this Cloud Startup. There's not really much of a price difference between the Premium and the Business, but then we have a massive price difference right here in the Cloud Startup. And although you do get this increased performance up to 10x, I have never had a single issue when using the 5x performance right here. Another important thing with the Business plan is going to be this NVMe storage. So the storage right here, you probably aren't going to go over 100 gigabytes anywhere. However, this NVMe storage, it essentially allows the images for your website to load in faster. So this is absolutely essential as well. So all we need to do is go to the Business plan right here and click on Add to Cart. And that is going to take us over to this area where we can now choose a period. Now, realistically, any of these three options right here, the 12, 24, or 48 months, these are all pretty good options. The only one that I would recommend avoiding is this 1 month plan right here. Mainly just for price, it's a lot more expensive at pretty much $14 per month. On top of this, we also have this $4.99 setup fee, and it doesn't come with a free domain. So if you do not yet have a domain, that's an additional $15 that you're going to have to spend. And just for this first month, if you go with the monthly plan, it's going to cost you $35. And then every month after that, you have to pay another $14, and it's really not the most cost-effective option. Even with the 12 month right here, you can see we basically pay $60 from the get-go, and that includes everything. No setup fees, a free domain, an entire year of hosting. And then if you know for a fact that you will have this website for the next 2 to 4 years, then the 24 months and 48 months can also make things slightly cheaper. However, as this is a tutorial, I'm just going to go for this 12-month plan. You can then create your account right here. So just enter in an email address and then create your password. And then down here, you can enter in your payment information. You can pay with any of these options right here. And then all we have to do is click on Submit Secure Payment. So I'm going to enter my information and do that right now. This is then going to redirect us to the control panel. So it may take a few seconds here. And just like that, it's going to load in. So from here, just click on Start Now. And then it's going to ask, who are you creating the website for? So you can choose whether you are creating this website for yourself, which I'm assuming you are, but you can also choose if you are creating it for somebody else. So I'm just going to say I'm creating this for myself. And then we want to choose here, I'm building it myself. It's then going to ask what type of website do you want to build? And of course, we are going to click on Portfolio. And then it's going to say, do you need help building your website? So right here, just click on No thanks, I know what I'm doing, as you will be able to follow this tutorial. This next screen is going to ask us if we want to create or migrate a website. Now, website migration is if you have a website with another hosting provider that you want to transfer over to Hostinger. This is not what we are doing. Of course, we are creating a new website. So let's go ahead and click into this. Next, it's going to ask if we want to build the website with the Hostinger AI or WordPress. Now, I've used this in the past and it's not the best website builder. So of course, we are going to go with WordPress right here. Let's go for select. And now it's going to ask us to create login details for WordPress. So at the top here, just select the language. Usually it will be auto-selected. Then the administrator email is automatically going to be selected as the email you created your Hostinger account with. So once again, we just want to leave this as it is. And then we can go ahead and create our administrator password for WordPress. Once that has been entered, we can click on continue right here. And it's going to ask us if we want to add any of these plugins. Now, I do not recommend adding any of these. It's like when you get a new phone or a new laptop or computer and it comes with a bunch of pre-installed apps that you don't really want. Effectively, these plugins will pay Hostinger to automatically put them in. However, having all of these just slows down the website, and the majority of these we don't need. So for these plugins, just click on skip. I will manage plugins later. And it's now going to ask us which template we want to use. So on this screen, just click skip. I don't need a template here at the bottom. It's then going to ask to automate text creation with AI. Once again, we will sort out all of the content creation and everything that we need when we can actually see the website and we can see what we are doing. So let's click on skip. I will write content later. And right here, we now get to name the website. So if you went with the yearly plan, which I recommended, we can now go ahead and claim a free domain. So right here, we want to click on select. And under here, we can choose a desired domain. Now, if you went with the monthly plan, you can also go ahead and buy a domain here. But let's go ahead and claim a free domain. Now, before we even enter the name of the domain, if we go to the end here, we can choose what kind of domain this is. Now, the only type of domain that we want here is a .com domain. So click this drop-down menu and then select .com right here. I'm just going to call this GeForce North, and we can see this domain is available. So once you have found your domain, just click on continue right here. And then it's going to ask for a few more details. So we just enter in the country, whether this is personal or company. It doesn't really matter what you select here. Then we can click next step. And then it's just going to ask for some contact details. Once this is entered, we can click on Finish Registration, and that is going to connect the domain to your website. And as you can see, this is now going to register that domain. We are going to get final confirmation right here with your domain. So just make sure this is correct and it has the .com domain, and then click on Finish Setup. It's then going to initialize setup, so once again, this may take a few seconds. And just like that, it says, well done, you are ready. So we can now either go to the control panel or edit the website with WordPress. Now, the first thing that we want to do is just go to the control panel. There is a few settings that we need to tweak here. So just go into Manage Site. And then the first thing that we need to do is just make sure that we have SSL protection. Now, SSL, if I go up here, is, as you can see, the connection for Hostinger is secure. And this is the SSL certificate right here. Now, what this means is if you do not have SSL certificate on your own website, when people try to access your website, it's going to give them a message that looks like this. So it is super important that we make sure this is on. Now, all Hostinger domains and hosting comes with free SSL. We just need to make sure this is enabled. So go over to security on this left-hand side, and then down here to SSL. As you can see, we have lifetime SSL and the status is active. If for whatever reason it's not active, you can click on these three dots and then just go ahead and activate it over here. Once we have checked SSL and made sure that is turned on and secured, the next thing that we need to do is verify the email for your domain. So if we just go back to the main dashboard right here on the left-hand side, you can see that the domain is active right now. However, if we click into Manage right here, you can see it says your domain is pending verification. So if you just go over to the email that you signed up for Hostinger with, you should have an email that looks just like this. So all we need to do is click on this link right here. Go ahead and open that up. And then as you can see, the email address has been verified successfully. So if we now close both of these down and hit refresh, you can see the email verification status is now verified and we now have the email good to go. So if we now go back over to the main Hostinger dashboard right here, and then as you can see at the top, we have the admin panel for WordPress. So we just want to go ahead and click into this, and this is now going to take us over to the WordPress admin area. So now we have installed and we are actually inside of the WordPress dashboard. The next thing that we are going to do is just make this super easy to get back to at any time with a simple click of a button. So all we want to do is go over to the left-hand side of the WordPress dashboard right here, and then click on the dashboard option. If you bought Hostinger hosting, you will be in the Hostinger section. So make sure we are on the dashboard. And then at the top up here, you should see yourdomain.com/WordPress-admin/index.php. Now we could just bookmark this website as it is, but what I prefer to do is just go up to this URL and delete the /index.php. So we can delete that. And then this just leaves us with yourdomain.com/WordPress-admin. We can then click enter, and it's just going to refresh this page. However, this top URL is now set how we just set it. So from here, we can now bookmark this tab. We just go up right here, then bookmarks, bookmark this tab. And just like that, this is now bookmarked. So very easy now, and this is really a time saver. All we have to do is open up a new tab, and then right here, we can click and instantly be taken back over to the WordPress dashboard. So let's just clear out some of these tabs. We do not need them anymore. And the next thing that we are going to do is install the theme template that we are going to use for the website. This template is absolutely incredible and does most of the heavy lifting for us. So all we are going to do is once again, come over to the left-hand side, this main control panel. And right here, hover over appearance, and then it's going to open up these options where we have themes or editor. So just click into themes. This is going to take us over to the themes area of WordPress. So all we need to do from here is click on add new theme here at the top. And then we are going to be taken over to this section where we can install all of these different themes from WordPress. Now, we do not want to just install a random theme. Instead, there is one specifically that we are looking for, and this is called Royal Elementor Kit. So just go up to this search bar in the top right corner, and we could probably get away with just typing in Royal. And we can see it right here, Royal Elementor Kit. So if you type in Royal and it doesn't show up, then just type in like Elementor, just like this. And then we can see Royal Elementor Kit. It looks like this, and this is the one that we need. So from here, just click on the install button when you hover over this, and that is going to go ahead and install this theme. Once this is installed, the install button will change to activate, so we can click on activate right here. That is then going to take us over to this area, back to the main themes screen. And right here at the top, it's going to say welcome to Royal Elementor Kit, because we just installed this theme. Now underneath, you should see this purple button that says get started with templates kit. So let's click on this. And that's going to install the kit library and start installing all of the things that we need on the back end automatically. So just give it a few seconds here, and just like that, it's going to take us over to this page so we can allow and continue. And this is where we are actually going to pick up the template that we are going to use for the website. So in this search bar at the top, it says search templates kit. So in here, search for gym. And this is the one we are going to be using right here. It's called Fitness Gym. So all we need to do is click into this theme, and we can see an entire breakdown of the theme. So this is the home page. We then have an About Us page, gallery page, classes page, and all of this. So you can take a look through this. However, what we need to do is click on this purple button in the bottom right corner that says import templates kit. So let's click on this, and then it's going to give us this pop-up. So just click on OK. And just like that, this entire template kit is going to be imported automatically. So once again, just give this a few seconds to install everything that it needs to. Once this has finished importing, you should get this message right here that says step 4 import finished. And then all we need to do is click on this button right here to visit the site. Just like that, this is now going to take us over to the website right here. And this is the standard template, which has done most of the heavy lifting for us. And all we need to do is go in here and start making changes to the text, some of the images, and all of that good stuff. So to start actually making changes to this website, all we need to do is up at this bar along the top, you should see this option that says edit with Elementor. Now, if we hover over this, it's going to give us a few different options. However, let's ignore these for now and just click on where it says edit with Elementor. Now, this is going to load in Elementor, and essentially Elementor is the website builder that we will be using to make changes to this website. So before I take you through step by step and we go through this together and start changing the website to look how you want it to look, I'm first of all just going to give you a super brief explanation of how Elementor works, just so you have some kind of understanding. So over here on the left hand side, you can see the navigator. Now, if for some reason you don't see this navigator tab on the right hand side, you can go down to the bottom left corner right here. It kind of looks like sheets of paper stacked on top of each other. And if you hover over this, you can see it says navigator. Just click on this, and that will bring this navigator to the right hand side. Now, the way that you use this is completely optional. You can either have this pinned to the side, like mine is right here, or if we click and drag from the top, we can have this as kind of like this floating area. Personally, I always pin this to the side. In my opinion, it just makes things a lot easier. But essentially with this navigator, we can see the website, the entire website right here, is made up of all of these different sections. So if we click on this top section, so this is now highlighted with a slightly lighter shade of gray, we can see everything inside of this top section shown between these two pink lines. So this is the top section right here, everything inside of here. Then the second section is everything between these two pink lines. The third section is everything between these two pink lines, and so on and so forth. So if we just go back up to the top and highlight this top section once again, between these two pink lines, and we click on the arrow next to the section, you can see this section is now made up of two columns. So we have this column right here and this column right here. Then inside of the column, this is the individual elements that make up the website. Now, I appreciate that that explanation can be a little bit overwhelming. However, don't worry, it's super simple to go through and make changes. So even if you do not fully understand how Elementor works, don't worry, because as I say, it's super easy, and I'm going to walk you through step by step all of the changes that we need to make. So let's just put these sections back up. And now let's start customizing the website to make it look how you want it to look. So the first thing that we are going to do is change this text right here. So all we have to do is hover over the text that you want to change, click on this, and then we can make all of the changes on the main control panel on this left-hand side. So if I click on this top text that says build your body, we can see over on the left-hand side, we have title that says build your body. And if we want to change this text, we just go in here, delete this, and then we can type out whatever we want. So I'm going to make this say GeForce North, just like this. And then I can go down to this next text by once again simply clicking into this and then changing this on the left-hand side. So right now this says build your habits. I'm going to say the best gym in London. So we can change all of that right there. On top of this, I forgot to mention, if you want to click into the text and change things like the text color, the font size, the actual font, then all we have to do is once that text is highlighted, once again, we use this left-hand side and we can flick this over to style. So in this style section, we can see the alignment. So if we want to align this in the center, we can do that right there. If we want to change the text color, we can do it using this box. So let's say I want to change the text color to red. All I have to do is move this around and change it to the color I want. Now I'm just going to put that back to white. We can then change the typography or the font. So if we click on this pencil icon, in here we can change the actual font. So we can choose from all of these different options right here. Let me just go back. We can change the size of this to make this as big or as small as we want. We can also change the weight or how bold the text is. We can change if this is uppercase or lowercase or everything is capitalized. We can change the line height, the letter spacing, and all of that good stuff. So that is just how you can make some changes to the text. And then from here, you basically already know how to change all of the text on this website. So with this text right here, all we do is click on this. And then over here on the left-hand side, it's going to open this box where we can go ahead and make changes. So I'm just going to change this to say, start your fitness journey today and change your life forever. And that text is now changed. So that is the text section right there. Once again, we can go over to style, change everything that we need. So if I just show you how this looks, by the way, if you want to save your website at any time, and I would highly recommend doing this on a consistent basis, all you have to do is go to this update button down here, click on update, and all of those changes that I have just made are now saved. To exit out of the editor and see how your website would actually look without all of this editor, see how it would actually look in real life, all we have to do is click on this eye icon next to update, and that's going to open up the website and show us how this is going to look when people actually visit. Now, if we take a look at this, I think the pop-up shows up, but just look there. You see how the numbers change very quickly? This is the next section, and I'm going to show you how we can edit all of this, and this is an awesome transition. So all we need to do is click into each of these sections. We can see each of these is like an individual section. So we can click into this first one that says 12 Fit Clubhouse or Fit House Club, and we can change everything over here. So the starting number, of course, we want to start this from 0 when the number is going up. And then let's change this to be, let's say we have 32, and then you can see that number is going to change. And then down here in the title, this is the title right here. I'm going to change this to say gym locations, just like that. And that is all now changed. You can also change the animation duration. So let's say I want to make this a little bit slow. Let's change this from 2000 to, let's go 500. And you can see it dramatically slows down there. So I will just do that again. 2000, very, very quick. 500, slightly slower. So I'm just going to put this back where it was. Then we can also use this 1000 separator. So none of these numbers have in the 1000, but let me just show you. Let's say we have 32,000 locations. This is automatically going to put the comma in right there and automatically separate the thousands. So if we turn this off, it's going to get rid of that. If we turn this on, it's going to come back. We can also change the separator right here. So for example, I know in the UK and the US, we use this comma. However, in the majority of Europe, you use a dot like this. So it really depends on where you are coming from to which separator you want to use, but I'm just going to go back to default. We can then move to the next section right here. So I will actually change this back to 32. So we have 32 locations. Then we can move along to this next one right here and click into this. And then once again, we use this exact same strategy to do all of these. So let's change this from monthly visitors to, let's say we have 4,500 monthly members. So we can change this. And then the title, we will change to monthly members. Just like that. And then also this number suffix. So you can basically choose between if you want to show the 1000 like we did before, or if you want the K that shows right here. So if we wanted to change this, we could delete this suffix right here, and then just change this to 4,500, and that's going to change right there. If you wanted to put a million in here, so let's say this was 4.5 million instead, then we would just change the suffix right here to like M or capital M plus, and then we now have 4.5 million monthly members. So I actually think the K looks cool. So I'm just going to go for 4.5K. Then we can go for, this is actually pretty nice. Apart from pro equipment, it almost doesn't sound fully English. It sounds like broken English. So I'm just going to change this to exercise machines, just like that. Then quality 100, like this does make sense, but I don't really think it looks the best on a website. So what I'm going to do is add like a 30-day guarantee here. So I'm going to change this to 30. And then I will change the suffix to, say day, like this. And then for the title, I will say money, 30-day money back guarantee. I actually think we need to add like a space here. And then we can have it like this. Perfect. So that is all now added in. Once again, we can click on update. And we now have this section complete. So from here, another big point of this that I need to mention is how do we change this big background right here if this is not something that you want to use? Once again, this is pretty simple. And if we look over on the right-hand side now to the navigator, as we go through and start making changes, these sections are going to open up as we start clicking around on different elements. So all we need to do from here is just go to this top section, the section right at the top, click on this arrow, and that's going to bring everything back up and make this look a lot nicer and neater. And then to change the background image, all we are going to do is once again click on this top section, and then on the left-hand side, right here, flick this over from layout to style, and then we can see the image that is used in the background right here. Now, it's super important that we make sure this image is the right size. So if we click into the image that is already here, hover over this and then click choose image, we can see over on this right hand side, this image right here is 1920 by 1080. Now, if we have this any other size, this is basically optimized for the website. So if we have this any other size, it's going to kind of distort what we have and make it look not as good. So what we need to do is actually go over to this website right here called Canva. And you can either choose between the free version of Canva or the pro version of Canva. I think it's around $15 per month for the pro. However, if you use the Canva link down in the description, you can get a 30-day trial of Canva for completely free. Now, there are really a few different reasons that we use Canva, and we are going to be coming back to Canva a lot in this tutorial. It's absolutely essential that you sign up, whether you get a free or that free trial of the pro account. So once you have your Canva account, what we want to do is click on Create a Design. Then from this menu that opens up, go down to Custom Size right here. Then we can choose, so I already have this filled in, but for you it will probably be blank. And then we want to make sure this is 1920 by 1080. So in here for the width, we put 1920. And then for the height, we put 1080, just like this. Make sure this is set to pixels, and then we can click Create New Design. That is then going to take us over to this blank page in Canva. And if you already have images that you want to upload, then all we have to do is go to Uploads on this left-hand side, on this big left-hand side menu. Click into Uploads, then click on Upload Files right here. And then you can choose the image that you want to add in. So let's say that I want to add this image right here. I can just drop this in. Wait until this fully loads in with this bar at the bottom. And then once it does, I simply click this into my Canva template. And then from the bottom corner here, we want to drag this to make sure this fits the whole way. So as you can see, if I drag this out, we still have some blank space at the side. So this shows me that this image wasn't the right size. So this is super important why we need to do this in Canva. So all we need to now do is drag this to the side right here. And just like that, I resized my image to be the perfect size for the website. So now all I need to do is go up to Share in this top right corner. Then from here, go to Download and then download this image. So I can go in and just download this. The image is now downloaded and it's now in the correct size. So all I have to do is go to Upload Files. Once again, let me go back. So the way that we get here is click into this top section, then move this over to Style, go to the image, click on Choose Image, and then from here, we can upload files into this media section, select files, and then select the Canva file that we just made. So I can drop this in, make sure this is selected right here, and then all we need to do is click on Select in this bottom right corner. And just like that, this image is now going to be added in. Now, in a minute, I'm actually going to show you how you can make super professional banners right here. However, for the people who just want to use an image like this, you may run into this issue where the background is a little bit light, like you can't really read the text as much. Now I have put this new background in. So if you run into this issue, no worries. All you have to do is once again go to this main control panel. Then we can move the background up. Go down here to background overlay and open this up. And then we can see right here we have background type. So we want to click on this paintbrush icon for classic. And then we can choose the color. So click into the color section. And then we want to set this all the way to black in this bottom left corner. Select. And as you can see, we can now turn this up and it's going to allow us to get a darker background. So we can have 0.5 right here and we can see that is already a lot easier to read. But we could even adjust this to like 0.3 if you want to show this background image better. So that is the first option right there if you just want to use an image like this. However, another reason that we use Canva is because we can create absolutely fantastic designs using Canva in literally a few minutes. So all we need to do on Canva is now go over to Design in this top left corner. And then we can see up here, it says Search Templates. So in this top bar, we just want to search for Jim. And then you can see all of these awesome templates that we can use that are pre-built for us. Then all we need to do is go in and change the text, and it makes it super easy. So I'm just going to go for this one. I think this one looks absolutely fantastic. So we can either go, and because we have text on the website, you can either delete all of this text right here, just like this, by simply clicking and hitting backspace, just delete all of this. And we could have just this design right here. Or we could even go and delete the text that we have on the website and leave this text right here. So I'm actually going to try both and just see how they look. I'm just going to delete this icon, or the logo, I should say, then delete this tag, but leave the rest of the text. Then I'm going to go up and save this and download this. And then what I'm also going to do is try out a version where this text isn't there. So I will just delete this. We will try this as well and see how both of these look on the website. So once again, click into this top section, go into background, and then we can see the image. So I'm just going to upload both of the files that I just created right there. And we can now drop these in. So let's try without the text first. Make sure this one is selected and then click select. And just like that, you can see this looks super professional already. Alternatively, I think the text is going to clash a little bit, but let's try it anyway. We could use that, but I think it looks a little bit bad. So let's just go back to how we were before at this section right here. And we can add this in right here at the top. So we now have the main background changed, and we have these two buttons right here. So this one says join member, and this looked a lot better when we actually had the old background. Because the background is now red, or whatever color you set your background to, this button doesn't look as good now. So all we need to do to change the color of the button is simply click into this. Then over here on the left-hand side, let's move this into style. And we can see that right now, this button kind of has this, I've completely forgot the word, but it kind of has two colors that are different on both sides and then merges into one in the middle. To say here, gradient, that's the word I was looking for. So you can choose if you want to have this gradient effect on your button, or if you just want to flick this back over to classic and have this as one color. So I'm going to leave this as the classic. And if I was now to set this to red, then it's going to clash a little bit. Like that doesn't look good either. So what I'm going to do is use another color that I have here. I can see this background is black. So I can then set this button to black, just like that. And that fits the website now and does look a lot better. However, if we now hover over this, you can see it's going to go back to the same color it was before. So what we need to do is once again go to this left-hand side. But now instead of being on normal, we want to flick this over to hover, and we can change the hover color. So for the hover, I'm just going to set this to the inverse. So once again, I want this on classic. Then for the color, I'm going to set this to white instead. And then of course we need to change the text color as well. So let's change that to black. And if we now have a look, when we hover over this, it's going to change to white and the text changes to black. So that's perfect. The only other thing you might want to change is actually what it says here. So right now it says join member. Let's go over to content on this left-hand side. And then right here in this text box, we can see this is where it says join member. So let's delete this, and I'm going to set this to join today. Just like that. I think that looks a lot better. Let's actually just capitalize this letter right here and maybe put an exclamation mark. Just like that. Now it's going to ask for a link right here. We are going to add a link later on to actually link to the pricing page. So when people click on this button that says join today, they will then be taken over to the pricing page where they can see all of the different plans that we have. So we want to leave this link option for now. As I said, we will do that later. And then we have a few other options right here, like the effect duration when we hover over, the width, things like this. So we could adjust the width of this. However, none of those are super important, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. The only other thing that we need to do in this top section is where it says watch training right here. We can click into this, and right here, if you do have a training video or some kind of video that you want people to be able to watch, then all we have to do is go to the text, delete this and change this to whatever you want it to say. And then in the link section, all you need to do is paste in the YouTube link or wherever you have this video, just add the link in right there. And then when people click on this, they will be taken over to that video. However, for me personally, I do not have a video that I want people to watch. So all I'm going to do is click on watch training. And then over here on the right hand side in this navigator, we can see this button is now highlighted. So all we need to do is right click on the highlighted button. Then going to open up this drop down menu. So we can click on delete. And just like that, that is going to be deleted. So this is the top section that is now done. All we have to do is click on update to save all of those changes. And then maybe we can even preview the changes right here and see how this is actually going to look. Now this pop-up is going to keep going. I will show you later on how we can change this, remove it, change it around, and do what you want to with this pop-up. But for now, we will just move it out of the way. And this is how this top section is going to look. So awesome. Let's close this back down and go back into the editor. And then the next section that we are going to change is this section right here, this About Us section. So very easy, and just from editing that top section, you already know really how we go about changing the text. So this is no different. We would just click into About Us here at the top. We can then change the title or the text, and then we can go over to Style, where we can change the text color, the font, the size, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to leave About Us. And then I'm going to go down here, and I'm actually going to stick with the theme I said here for the best gym in London. So I'm just going to change this to say London's most loved, or let's say fitness center. So that is now changed. We can then go into this next section, and then you will notice over here on the right hand side, we have all of this text right here. So just to show you how this is actually split up, because this is kind of split up into this side and this side. So to split this up, let's say this is all deleted. All you need to do is once your text is typed out, just hit the enter button to make a line. And just like that, that's going to split this into two. So you want to write out the first paragraph that you want shown over here. And then once that is written out, you have written out this entire paragraph. We can then hit enter. And then we can write out another paragraph, and that will be over on the next side. So I'm actually going to go back and have this as it was before, just like that. And feel free, by the way, to pause this video at any time whilst you are making these changes to the website. So once you have done that, we then want to go down to this next section. And in here, we can actually add in all the different facilities that your gym has. Now, if you are a more basic gym in terms of facilities, for example, you don't have a swimming pool, I realize that most of these are pretty high end in the things that they entail. Then what you can do, if you don't have 4 different facilities that you can show off on your website, then you can simply get rid of this section. So all we would need to do is hover over this section right here. Then we can see this X icon that appears above it. We want to delete this. And then we will be left with this much smaller one that we can delete as well. So just like that, that is now going to be deleted if you don't have facilities to show off. However, if you do and you do want to customize this, then let's go through that right now. So in here, we can just basically click into all of these individual sections. Let's start off with cardio exercises. And right at the top here, the first section that opens up is going to be this image section. Now, interestingly enough, it's not this image right here. Like you would assume the image is going to be this image. It's actually this kind of background image that you can see with these lines that's going to move along when you flick between all of these. Now, I personally think this is a really cool effect, so I don't want to delete this. However, if you do, all you need to do is come along to the image, click on this trash can icon, and just like that, it's going to be deleted. So we could go to Yoga Garden, delete this image, and that's going to be deleted as well. But I'm just going to go back and put these all in place. And where we can actually make the main changes to these is actually in this content section. So once we open this up, in here, this is now where we can see all of the different images and things that we want to change. So let me just go back to content on the cardio exercises. And the first thing that we have at the top here is going to be an image for each of these. Now, you have basically 2 options here. First of all, you can keep this as an image, which is going to be a little bit more work. I will show you how to do this in Canva and how to create these professional ones. Or alternatively, you can take the little bit of the easier option, and all we have to do is where it says select icon type, flick this from image to icon, and then we can basically choose an icon right here. So we can go to the icon library. Don't upload an SVG, like that's not a good idea. Go to icon library, and then in here, you can see if this has the icons that you are looking for. So this one is a cardio bike. We have like a bicycle or biking. So this might be a good idea. We can insert this. And as you can see, that is going to be added in. The only annoying thing I would say about this is with these icons, you can't change the color of these. So with the images, we can of course set these to any color that we want. But with icons, you are going to be left with this white one right here. So that's if you want to use the icon. However, we can also create images for all of these. And the way that we do that is by going back over to Canva. So once we are on Canva, we can click on these 3 dots in the top right corner and then go back to Canva Home. And that's going to take us back over to the main home area. Now to actually create these images, once again, it's super important to make sure these are the right size. So if we click in, we can see each of these images are 320 by 320 pixels. So if we go back over to Canva and click Create Design, once again, we want to click on Custom Size and set this to 320 by 320. We can then click on Create New Design. And in here, we are going to be added to a brand new template. The way that we actually find the images like these ones that you can see right here is we actually need to go over to Elements on the left-hand side of Canva. In here, we can search for whatever we want to create. So for example, I'm just going to stick with cardio exercises, or actually let's add in some treadmills. Let's change this. So I want a treadmill right here. So what I'm going to do is just go to Elements and search for treadmill, just like this. And then if I now go to graphics, we can choose from all of these different treadmill options. So another important thing here is if you do use this option, make sure these are all congruent. Like don't use an image like this, and then for the next one, use an image like this, and then for the next one, use an image like this, because that's just going to look terrible. You need to make sure they all kind of have the same art style. So if I'm looking at these right here, then the one that I'm looking at is maybe something like this. Yeah, that's perfect. So what I can do is just make sure this is spread the entire way, as big as this will go. Then put this in the center. And now all I have to do is let's make this the same color of yellow. So my favorite tool for doing this, if you need to grab certain colors from the website, is this eyedropper tool right here. Now this is completely free. I will leave a link to it in the description. It's just a Chrome extension, but essentially what it allows you to do is pick a color from the web page. So for example, like if I zoom in, I want to grab this yellow right here. So I can click this. And just like that, it's going to tell me this exact yellow. So all I have to do is copy the code that it gives me. Then we can go back over to Canva, go to the color, new color, and just paste that in. It's going to give me the exact color that we just saw. So from here, I can then go up to share, then download. And super important when you are creating these type of images is we want to go for a transparent background. If we don't, then it's going to come with this huge white box behind it. We don't want that. So we want to turn on transparent background. Then we can click on download. And once that is downloaded, I can now add it to the website. So I'm just going to select my box, then go to choose image, upload files, and upload the file that I just created. Then we can click on select. And just like that, this doesn't look any different. Like you wouldn't have known that I just created this myself because it's super congruent with the rest of the images. So that is how you can go ahead and add all of the images right there, create images for these. And then for the rest of the section, we can just go down and edit the title. So instead of cardio, I'm going to change this to say treadmill, exercises, and then we can go down and add some more text right here. So I could just type whatever I want into this box, and that's going to update in real time. So that is how you can edit this entire section right here. Once again, let's click on update and make sure all of those changes are saved. And the next section that we need to look at is this featured activities section right here. So honestly, what I would say about this section is at first glance, it looks really, really cool. We have this moving map, this kind of chart that is right here. However, I would personally not use this on my website. Firstly, this chart looks cool, but it's not very functional at all. For example, we can see down here it says January, February, March. We can go in and try to change this, so I can go into data. However, if I try to add any more than 3 points here at the bottom, so let's go January, February, March, April, it doesn't let you add any more than 3. So if you can figure out a way on how to do this, like set this up looking nice and cool and actually serves a function, then absolutely like use this. However, the featured activities as a whole, we basically mention them down here as well. This shows all of the different activities. So I would not recommend using this section. Once again, you can, and the way that you edit this is the same as the rest of the website, where we change things on the left-hand side. So for example, this one looks a little bit different, but it's the exact same. Right here, we have like building, Mr. Concerns. It just has random text here. But what we can do is click into this top section, change the text, change the icon right here, and change everything on this left-hand side. This chart is the exact same, where you can make all of the changes that you need to. We can edit these top points right here. We can edit the data labels right here. So if you do want to use this, you can, but I'm personally just going to delete this section. Now, this section is absolutely awesome, and this is one that we definitely want to use. So this is going to show all of the different services and different things that you offer at your gym. Now, services, I think, doesn't sound the best. So the first thing I'm going to do is click into services and change this to be, let's say, GeForce activities. You can really change this to be anything you want. I'm just going to go with that right there. And then if you also want to add in a little bit of text right here, you can change this on the left-hand side. But most importantly is going to be these two sections right here that actually show what the gym offers and some of the activities that we have going on. So to change what these say, let's start off with this left-hand side. And all we are going to do is click into this section and once again, make all of the changes over here. So the first thing that we can change is the layout of this. Now, I think this looks cool the way it does, with this to the right-hand side and this to the left. But if you do want to change this, then you could change it to like both of these in the middle, just like that. That also looks pretty cool. But I do prefer this layout where we have one and then we have the other one right there. So that is the layout. We can then choose the icon shape. So right now, these are kind of like diamond shaped or rhombus, these are called. Or we can also change these to square. Once again, I personally think the default rhombus looks the best. We can also change the image resolution. I wouldn't recommend playing around with this, but we can play around with the spacing, how far is in between all of these, the horizontal spacing like this, and also the title distance from the text. But I'm just going to go back. By the way, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but if you do need to go back, then you can use Command Z or Control Z on your keyboard, depending if you are on Mac or PC. But let me just change these back to rhombus. Perfect. So that is the general layout right there. You can use this section to do so. But most importantly, we can open this content box, and this is where we can go in and make changes to these individual items. So first of all, we have lessons for beginners. So we can click into this on the left-hand side. And first of all, let's change this title. So instead of lessons for beginners, I'm going to say this is I don't know how you spell it, calisthenics. This right here, we'll put this in and say, so we'll put this in and say this is calisthenics training. So that is the title. And then we can also change the content down here. So we can delete this and say whatever we want to say. So I'm just going to change this to say 60-minute hardcore workout using gymnastic rings, pull-up bars, and pedestals. So that is the content right there. And then of course, we want to select an icon. Now you can change this to be an image and then go back and use the Canva method that we talked about earlier. However, in my opinion, this would be a lot of work, whereas up here, it looks cool and there's a reason to do this. Nobody's really going to notice in this section, and it just makes your life so much harder. So instead, I would recommend using an icon right here. So all we have to do is just go to select icon. Then we can go to the icon library. Whichever icon is currently there, that's the logo that will be here. So we can click icon library. And then for this, for calisthenics, maybe we can say like gymnastics. That's not there. Or maybe we can set this to like weight because it's good for weight loss. Perfect. So we can insert this. And just like that, that is now going to be added in. If you want to add any links here, so for example, if you wanted to create a full page on calisthenics, what you could do is once you create that page, we can add links in right here. And then people will be able to click on that and see a bigger overview of that specific class timetable or whatever you want to add to that page. Then for the next section, we can go down to Pro Workout, do the exact same thing where we can change the title right here, change the text underneath, choose the icon and all of that good stuff. Then for this section, you simply click over, make sure this section is highlighted. Then we can go back to content and do the exact same for everything that is over here. One other thing that is super important here actually is going to be the colors. So right now, I think it would look better if the colors kind of alternated instead of being all like yellow or all orange. So all we have to do is once we are in content and once we have one of these clicked, all we have to do is go over to style right here. And then for custom styles, we can turn this on. And then from here, you can choose the color that you want this to be. So let's say we wanted this to be the same orange. We can use this eyedropper tool. Once again, this is why it's so cool. Eyedropper, grab that orange. Then we can copy and make the background color orange like that. And then the border is kind of like this purple as well. Cool. So we have that, then that's yellow. Then we have this one as orange, yellow. And then we can have this one as orange as well. So shop for workout. Style, custom styles, background color orange, border color orange. And just like that, you can see how we would change these. So that is that section right there. That's how you can update the activities. And then once again, if you do want to change the background image that is shown here, all we have to do is let's go back over to the right hand side, pull all of these sections up, just like this. And then we want to flick through until we find that exact section. So we can see we now have this section highlighted by the pink lines. So once we have this section highlighted, we can go to the left hand side, go to style, and then for some reason this isn't showing up. Why is that? Background overlay maybe? There it is. So we would just check that out, go to the background overlay, and then we can change this to any image that we want. So let's try out this image that we uploaded earlier. And just like that, we can see that background image has now been changed. So let's click on update. I want to keep reminding you guys to constantly update your website because if something goes wrong, it's an absolute nightmare. So scrolling down, we have this next section, which is why choose us. So once again, we can click into here and we can start editing this text on the left-hand side. We can edit this text. And then for each of these, we just click into Pro Equipment, for example. Then we can change the text on this left-hand side. We can add a description right here. And then, of course, we can also choose the image. So when you create an image for each of these, once again, super important to make sure you know the size. So 400 by 400. Then we would once again just go back over to Canva, make a custom size 400 by 400. And then you can change the image just like we did earlier. So that is how you can do that section right there. Then moving down, we have this section. This is another section that I don't really like to use because not many people do have videos that they want here. And on top of that, even if you do have a video, creating an awesome thumbnail like this is a little bit annoying. So what I personally do is just hover over, delete this section, and that's going to take us over to this section right here, which is the pricing area. Now, we are going to create an entire page for pricing in itself. However, I do also think it's a very good idea to have your pricing on this homepage. So in the pricing section, I'm going to leave this top one that says pricing. Then choose your plan. I also like this, so I'm just going to leave that. But this section right here, I am going to change. We can edit this on the right hand side. I'm just going to say choose your plan and join today. So that is this section now done. But we can go down and we want to click into all of these different areas right here and change the plans that these come with. So let's start with the basic plan. This is going to open up on this left hand side. And the first thing that we want to change is the heading. So I'm going to open this up and we can now see these are the heading options. So for the title, I'm going to change this from basic plan to be monthly. Then we can also choose if we want to show an icon. Right now, there's no icon there, but you can choose from the icon library, for example, and add an icon in above. So that is optional. I'm just going to turn the icon back off. So that is the heading. Then we can close that back down and go to the price. So for the price, I'm going to set this to, let's say this is $39.99 per month. Oh, whoopsie. So we just want to set that to 39. And then sub price is going to show us the cents. So let's put that like that. Then we can also choose the currency symbol right here. So if you are in America, obviously dollars, but for me, I might go pounds as I'm in the UK. But let's just change that back. Then under period right here, this is where we can add like monthly or yearly or whatever we want to add right here. So that is the heading and pricing done. And then the other three things that we have is these features right here. So under the features, this is where you can just list some different things. So in text for this first feature, I might say cancel anytime with this plan. And then let's go back, go to the second feature right here. And in here, I'm going to say full access to everything. And then for the third one, let's go back up, go to the third feature. And I'm going to change this to say no joining fee. Then we can go to the button. We can change this in the button text to say anything that we like. And then once again, later on, once we have the rest of the website set up, that's when we will come in here and be able to add a link. Let's now go to the pro plan. The monthly plan, or the first plan I should say, is now done. But then we can go to the monthly plan, and actually I'll respect your time here. I don't think you need to see me go through this again, as if you do, you can just rewind the video and go back to the last one to see exactly how we do this. Now, the next thing that we have down here is the badge. And in here, you can basically add if this is a sale or something. So we can add this in the corner and it's going to say sale. Or we can change this to say whatever we want. So I could say like 20% off. And that's going to show up right there. So we can have this in the corner. We can have this as a circle. Or we can have this as a flag. And we can add this next to any of these. I'm just going to change this to off for now. And then we also have hover animation right here. So this is a very cool effect. Basically, as you can see, when I hover over this now, it's going to add the slide, or we also have the bounce. Now this looks terrible, so I would go back to slide, and that looks a lot more professional. So that is how you can edit this column right here. The other two are the exact same. We just go into heading, price, these features, and then you can also add the animation to the other ones, and that looks absolutely beautiful. With this last one, you will also notice that it kind of has this color here. So to add or change the colors of any of these, we can simply click on this, go to style, and then down here, we will be able to change this. This should be under wrapper. And then right here, we can see all of this right here. So we can change the color of this. You can play around with this. Right now, of course, this is set to gradient, but you could change this to classic. And then basically you just want to play around with this. Make sure this is the color that you want. I think this gradient effect looks cool. And then with any of these, in this style section, this is where you can change like the heading, you can change the price and the color of this. So we could change like the color of the price to red. We can change the currency symbol, the old price. And really, I would recommend just playing around in this style section with all of these different colors, seeing what fits with your website and seeing how you want to play this. So that is the pricing section right there. And that is how we can edit that. And then down here, we have this professional trainers section. Now, if you do have personal trainers or professional trainers in your gym, then we can go ahead and edit this. However, if not, once again, we just delete this. So we have these professional trainers. We can click in, edit this. I'm not going to show you how to edit text, as you should probably have a pretty good idea by now. But then in here, we can click and change all of these different sections. So if we click into Regan Cohen right here, we have the name. So we can change this to like, I'll just set this to my name, just like that. We can then change the job beneath. So gym instructor, we can set this to whatever we want. And then most importantly, we need an image of this person. Once again, we want to set this to the exact size that this is. So 704 by 899. The only other thing that I want to mention in this section is you can add social media to each of these trainers. So the way that we do this is on this left-hand side. Once we have one of these highlighted, we can see social media, and then we can add in all of these different socials. So with social one, right now this is set to Facebook. So all you would do is go to the social URL, paste in the social media link for whichever social media that is. And then if you want to change the icon, we just go select icon, go to the icon library right here. And let's say this is Instagram instead. We can go Instagram, insert, and just like that, that icon is now in there. If you want to delete a social media, for example, like we have Twitter, we can just turn this off and that's going to be deleted. So just go to select icon and set that to none if you want to turn it off. And you can add up to 5 social medias per person. We also might want to change the color of the hover. And the way that we do this is by going to style on this left-hand side, going down to social media, and then we can see the color settings right here. So for this, the color is only really there when I hover over. So we can go to hover and then maybe set this to like red. Set this to red as well, just like that. And then if we now hover over that, you can see for this person specifically, that is set to red. Then you can change a few other settings right here. But once again, I don't want to go into too much detail and drag this tutorial out for longer than it needs to be. If you want to play around with the colors and everything like that, then you can do it in this style section right here and just play around and see what looks good. Once again, we can click on update. Now further down, we then have this client testimonial section. Now, if you are a gym, you might not even have client testimonials. It's not a common thing that gyms have on their websites. So if you do want to add this, then once again, the text is the exact same, where we just click in and edit this on the left-hand side. Then we can click in the main section right here. And we can see right now, this is made up of 4 testimonials. So we have item 1 right here. And this is the first testimonial. Let me go back to this first page. So this is the first testimonial right here. We can change the person's name. We can change the job that they do right here. We can then change the author image. So an image of this person we can add in. Once again, I want to make this abundantly clear. You do need to check the size of this image when you add this in. Then we can go down and right here, you will see the main content section. And this is where you can actually add in the testimonial that you want to add in. So that is item 1. And then all we have to do is go back up. We can add in item 2, item 3, and item 4. And then if you want to add in another testimonial, you can click on add. If you want to remove one, you can click on remove, and that will be removed right there. So that is the testimonial section. And right here, this is the entire homepage that is now finished. Because with this section right here, if you try to edit this, it simply won't let you. Now, this section at the bottom, this is called a footer. And this section at the top is called a header. And if you try and edit either of these right now on the current screen, you will not be able to. Now, the header and footer, this is what we want to finish this entire tutorial with. So for now, let's click on update. Then we can go ahead and preview changes. And the entire homepage of the website is now complete. And it gets a lot quicker from here. The homepage is by far, it takes the longest time. So the next thing that we need to do is edit this about section. So go up to about along the top. We can click into about. And in here, this is where we can start creating the about us section. Once you are on about, we want to go up to the top and click edit with Elementor. And in here, we can start making some more changes. So with this header, right now this says about. You can maybe say like about us, or even just leave this as this is. Then we can edit this background behind it. So once again, the way that we do this is going to section. Then we can go over to style and edit the image right here. Then we can go down, and once again, I don't want to spend too long on this because you already know how to do pretty much all of this. We can click into this section, go to content and change all of the content here. Then we can change the text, and so on and so forth. So I want to respect your time, and I'm not going to go through this entire page and show you exactly how to do this because it's the exact same as the home screen. The one thing that I will say is with this logo section along the bottom, just delete this. This is not fitting for a gym website. So just go through and fill out this section right here. Once the About Us section is complete, we can then click on Update, Preview Changes, and that is the About Us section. The only thing that I will actually show you on this screen is how to actually get images like this. Because these are pretty cool, like they look absolutely fantastic. But you might not have any images like this. And secondly, if you do, they might have a huge background that is going to really take away from how these look. So first of all, if you do not have any professional looking model images like this, then the best place to get these from is this website called Pexels. So on Pexels, you can get royalty-free images and videos that you can use for commercial purposes. So in here, we could just type in like gym and then see if anything pops up right here. So we could maybe use this image. Let's use this one right here. So we can click on download. And then once this has downloaded, we also need to remove the background. So to remove this, we just go back over to Canva. And then once again, I know I keep hammering on about this, but this is super important. We want to check the image size. So 503 by 900, custom size. We go 503 by 900, then create a new design. And all we have to do is go to upload and drop this in. So this one right here, drop this in, and then make sure this is the full size, just like that. And then maybe the best thing to do here would actually be move this a little bit further over to like here so that we can get the kettlebell fully in. So once you have the image in, we then want to go ahead and remove the background. Now Canva makes this super simple. All we have to do is click into the image, go up to edit photo, and then we can click on background remover. Just like that, it's going to automatically remove the background. So then all we have to do is go back. And just like that, we now have this image without the background. So we can now share, download, and make sure to download this with a transparent background. Then we can go back over and upload this new file, just like this. We can add this in. And as you can see, that is how you can add images like that onto your website. So we have that right there. Then the rest of this about page, as I say, you already know how to create. Super simple, just click and edit on this left-hand side. So that is the About Us page. Next, we can go over to classes. And in here, we can see all of the classes as well as a timetable. So once again, we want to click on Edit with Elementor. And then in here, we can update this top section, update this piece of text right here. Then for these sections, once again, you already know how to edit these. So you would just go to the image, make a change for this background image. And then for the content, we can change the top section right here, the icon, and the text. One thing that I will show you though, if you want to keep this black and white look, once again, the best way to get black and white is through Canva. So all we would do is go over to Canva. And let's just do it with this image right here. We can change this to black and white. So we can add this in. And then once again, all we would do is click edit photo in this top right corner. Then in the edit section, we want to go to filters. And then if we scroll down, we can see mono, which is the black and white right here. So you can scroll through and really see which ones fit your website. But what I would recommend is if you are replacing all of these images, make sure when you set them to black and white, they all have the same filter on them. That's just going to make it look a lot better and more congruent. Now, for the timetable, this is something we haven't came across before, but once again, very, very easy to do. All we need to do is go down to the header, and we can see all of the header options right here. So this one we can keep as weekdays, as it shows the days of the week. But then in here, we can change this from MMA classes to karate classes. Then we can change the color, the background color, all of these other things down here. If you want to add in more items, we can click add item, and that's going to add in right there. If you want to delete any items, we can click on the X, and that's going to delete the item. Then we can go into content, and this is where we can change the actual timetable. This looks super, super confusing, but don't worry. Effectively, if it says row right here, this means it's going to affect this going along the top. So a row is kind of like sideways. And then when it says col, this is down. So all we would need to do is click into each of these to see exactly what this is going to change. So if we click into this top one, this is just a row. It looks like we actually can't change this. But let's go to this one that says col and then Monday. So this is the Monday column. We can change this to whatever we like. However, I'm going to assume that for everybody watching this, this is basically the layout of the timetable where we have the days of the week down here. So we don't need to change that. But then we can see for this column right here, it's currently blank. So let's go in and change this, and we can maybe say like 1600 to 1800. Then we can go up. Then this next column is going to be this one right here, this one right here, this one right here. And if there's a specific column that you need to access, like let's say I want to add this in, all we would need to do is first of all find the day. So we can see that this column is on Wednesday. So I would find Wednesday. And then we can see this is the third one. So Wednesday, 1, 2, 3. Wednesday, 1, 2, 3. This is this column right here. So then I can go and fill this in, say 10, 00 to 12, 30, just like that. So that is how you can change the timetable right there. Once again, under each of these sections, we do have certain things that you can play around with, like you can add in a logo maybe, or an icon, I should say, next to each of these. You can change the color and all of that good stuff. But from there, you should now have a basic understanding of how to actually navigate the table and change things around. And then if you do want to play around with the colors, add certain things in, then you can really play around with that for yourself and really see what fits your own website. But then going down, we have this professional trainers section once again. So this is the exact same as the homepage where we can change the name, the image, and all of that good stuff. We then have featured news and blog. Now for most people, I wouldn't assume you have a blog for a gym website. So let's just delete this. And then that is the classes page that is now complete. So we can update this, preview the changes, and that is classes. Then we can go on to trainers. Now, you guessed, the same page right here where we have these professional trainers. So is there much I need to go into on this page? Actually, let's talk about this section right here. So I will go into edit with Elementor. Once again, just some basic text right here. You already know how to do that. But this table right here, this is split up into individual sections. So we have strength training right here, and we can choose the percentage of the bar. So the max value you always want to keep at 100. It just doesn't make sense to change this. And then whatever percentage you want to put this to is the counter value. So if I want to have this as like 60%, I would change this to 60. We can then change the title right here. So this is strength training, but maybe we can change this to like boxing training, and we can have that right there. You can also choose whether you want to show the counter. So if you have this off, it's not going to show the counter percentage there. If you have this on, it obviously is. You can change things like the counter position. Once again, playing around with all of these different areas. Is there anything else important here? Animation duration, you can control under settings. Layout maybe, actually. So we can actually lay this out in a circle if for whatever reason you wanted to. However, when you have 4, like back to back like this, I wouldn't recommend it. So just keep this as horizontal line. Then we can go down to the next one right here, change all of this. And if you do want to add in something else, like if you want to add in 5 bars, all you have to do is come over to this right hand side, go to the progress bar, right click, and then duplicate. Just like that, it's going to duplicate this last one. So we can then go ahead and make changes to this, just like that. If you want to delete any of these, once again, go to the progress bar that you want to delete, right click, and then delete. And then for the rest of this section, yeah, we don't need to go into detail. You already know how to do all of that. Then review. This is just going to be a review section, some testimonials once again. Now, if you don't want this page, I understand why some gyms just wouldn't want a testimonial page for a gym website. Don't worry, just don't edit this for now, and we will remove this at the end when we change up this menu. However, if you do want to change it, then it's pretty much all text. We just have an image right here, and you already know how to do those changes. The pricing, we've already been through this, how to change each of these individual pricing plans. The one difference that I will mention here is, I don't know why this is, but it's just something that might throw you off. On here, the way that this is set up automatically is we have cheapest plan, middle plan, most expensive plan. Whereas on the pricing page, we have cheapest plan, medium plan, most expensive plan. So just keep that in mind. I would personally set it to cheapest, medium, most expensive, but it's completely up to you with the way you want to set this out. Then we just have some more text, pricing and plans. So with this, just very simple, we click in and then we can access each of these different sections right here. And then when we click in, we can change the actual text. So that right there is the pricing page. Then under pages, this is pretty much not necessary. You can click into all of these and have a look around, but we are going to delete all of these. We don't really need any of these pages right here, so we will take these off. These just basically come with the template. Then blog, we also are going to remove, so just leave this for now. And then contact, we do need to fill this in. So let's go edit with Elementor, as there is a few things I need to show you on this page. First of all, text, background box, pretty easy. We've already done this. Text over here, so you can just click on this. Then you can change the phone number by clicking into this area and changing the text. Same with the email and location. However, this right here, this is a form. You can click into the form and then we can change all of these different fields. So right now we have email, department, and message, but we might want to change the department to like a phone number. So we can just in here say like phone number, just like that. And this is a drop-down menu right now. So we actually want to change this from a drop-down menu to a text menu, obviously, to enter in a phone number. So the way that we do this is by going to type, and then we can choose from all of these different options. So I'm going to set this to tel for telephone number. Then the rest we can leave the same. So that is how you can add that right there. And that is how you can play around with this box. Now, scrolling down, we do have this map, and underneath we have this text that says, please go to plugin settings and insert Google Map API. You can do that. In my opinion, it's a little bit more advanced, or not even my opinion, it is more advanced. In my opinion, what we need to do is just set up a location so people know where you are. So all we are going to do is click on this heading. Then on the right-hand side, right click and delete. Then we want to do, then for this, we want to click into Google Maps. And all we need to do here is simply go to locations on the left-hand side and set this to your location. So right now it says latitude and longitude, and it actually doesn't allow you to type in the location that you need to. Super easy to do this anyway though. all you need to do is open up a new tab. Then we can go to Google Maps, and from here, it's super easy. Just go up to search Google Maps and then search for your location. So for example, if I'm in Covent Garden, London, I'll just type in Covent Garden, London. So this is my exact location right here. Then to get the latitude and longitude, all you need to do is, let's say I'm right here. Put your cursor over your exact location where the gym is, right click, and then you can see we have the latitude and longitude right here. So all we would do is enter in the first number here and the second number here, and then that is going to take you to your location. Then we can also choose to use a custom marker. I would not recommend changing this. You can if you want. You can just create one in Canva, but just leave this as it is. And then just like that, you now have your map. So we can then preview changes. And just like that, we now have the contact section completed. So we now have all of the pages that we need on our gym website. The final thing that we have to do is just edit the header. So this section right here, because right now we have some pages that we don't necessarily need. And on top of this, we also have this drop-down menu that leads to blank pages. If I try and open any of these pages, it's just going to take me over to this screen right here. So we need to remove these and really play around with this menu and also upload our own logo. So to do this, instead of clicking Edit with Elementor, we want to click on Customize right here. Once you are on the Customize screen, we can now start editing this header. So first of all, we want to go to Menus. Then we can go to Main Menu, and that is this menu right here. So if there are any pages that you want to get rid of, for example, this one right here under Pages, we have like Home V1, Home V2, Gallery 404 page, and Coming Soon. So all we need to do is click on this drop-down menu for the page that you would like to delete. Click Remove, and that page will be removed. So Gallery, we will do the same. Drop-down menu, Remove, 404, Remove, and then Coming Soon, Remove. Then we also want to delete the main Pages page. So we go to Pages, drop-down menu, Remove. Blog we also want to delete. So drop-down menu, Remove. And then any of the other ones that you don't want on your site, you can do the same. We can then click on Publish, and that is going to really straighten up that menu right there. And then it doesn't look like that is updated right now. So let's just refresh this page. And just like that, these are now updated and all of those pages are removed. The next thing that we need to do is upload our own logo. Now, the way that we edit the header is a little bit different. So what we want to do is publish and save the changes to the menu that we just edited. Then click on this X button. And from here, we want to click on this WordPress button in the top left corner. Once we are back on the WordPress dashboard, we can then go to Royal Add-ons, hover over this, and then go down to the Theme Builder. This is then going to take us over to this Theme Builder area. And right here, we can see the theme or the template that we are using. So click into Edit Template right here. And then this is going to take us to this blank page. In this blank page, we can then go to this logo, and we can see all of the logo right here. So what we now need to do is create our own logo. And once again, we will be using Canva to do this. So before we go in, let's go choose image and see the size of this. So 151 by 63 pixels. Let's go home, create a new design, custom size 151 by 63, then create a new design. And then we can create our logo right here. The easiest way to do this is to go to Elements, then search for Gym logo, then Graphics, and we can see a few logos that we can choose from. So I quite like this one. I'm going to add this in. And then the current logo that we have, how is this laid out? Let me just have a look. Okay, so we have the logo there and then some text. So I'm going to lay mine out in the same way, where we have the logo like this. And then I will go for text and just call this G-Force for this top section. We'll have this as this red color. So if I hover over this, we can see in document colors, it's automatically going to give us that. So then we can move this up a little bit. Then I will copy and say north. Just like that. Then document colors, have this as that color. And then maybe this wants changing around actually, so we could have this there and this there. That looks better. So that's my logo. Then I can highlight all of these, make sure this is in the center. This is in the center as well. Then we want to share, download, and transparent background. Then we can go back over to the website and upload this in here, upload files, select. And then we will do the same for Retina. Select. And as you can see, that has just updated to my logo. Now, one mistake that I made with this is like black on black. So what would be better to do is go back here and just make this white. But I'm not really too bothered. I won't actually be using this website. So if that clash happens, definitely update that. But I'm just going to leave this for now. So we now have the logo. So let's go back out. Let's click this backspace and go back to this Royal Add-ons area. We should automatically be taken there. So the next thing that we are going to do is go to the footer. And in the footer, click on Edit Template once again. In here, this is where we can now change all of this section that we can see on every page. So you can change this text right here, this text right here, and then we want to leave this mail button so we can collect people's emails. Then we also have this right at the bottom. So we have more text that we can change, add in a little header there. Then right here, where it says like C 2022, you want to change this to say 2022 or 2024 it is now. So we will say 2024, copyright, and then whatever your brand name is. So I will set this to GeForce North, just like that. So that is the footer right there. We can click on update and preview changes and see the footer. Let's exit out of that and go back. And then what we also need to do is if I open the site once again, it's going to give us this pop-up. So we can either customize this pop-up or delete this completely. And the way that we do this is by coming back over to here, then going to pop-up builder. If you want to delete this pop-up, just click on this X button and it will be removed. Or we can click on edit template. And then as soon as this loads in, the first thing before you click anything, this is where we can change the background. So we go to style and then we can change the background right here. Then we can click in and it's nowhere near Black Friday. So I might say, join us today. And then down here, it says join our mailing list and receive a 45% discount. So maybe we want to change this to like 20%. Then we can click on this timer and update this. So we can see this is currently set to way back in the past, which is why there's nothing there. Let's go to 2024 and set this to June 2024. And you can see the timer is actually going to start working now. And then we can leave the rest of this and just click on update. And that is now going to be updated. Now, the absolute final thing that we have to do in this tutorial is just remove this big menu that opens up and basically leads to nowhere. So the way that we do this is once again back out to the WordPress dashboard. So let's just go back. Then we want to go down to appearance on this left-hand side, then into menus. And right here, we can see all of these menus. So if we hover over home, that's where this big menu is. Then we can click mega menu, enable mega menu off, and then save. And now if we go back just to check if this has worked, we can see that is now removed and we no longer have that big drop down menu. So that is how you can build a gym or fitness center website step by step. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to smash that like button and tap that subscribe button. And until next time, take it easy.